Hello everyone, welcome to Virtual SQL Pass 2020. Today I'm going to talk about Datavail monitoring platform for SQL Server known as TechBoost. I am Mehul Joshi. I am currently working as a global practice lead for SQL Server at Datavail. I have been DBA most of my career and I have 40 plus DBA team who works with me currently as a SQL DBAs. If you need any help regarding SQL Server, please feel free to reach out to me on my LinkedIn or send me email, and I will be happy to help you on your SQL Server environments. About Datavail, Datavail is managed service provider for DBA services and data related services. We have been doing this for more than 16 plus years. We work on pretty much every database platform out there, including SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, DB2, MongoDB, open source DBs, Postgres. So yeah, please get in touch with us if you need any help in database world. We will be happy to help you guys if you need any help. Datavail TechBoost. Before we go into the agenda, I would like you to ask a question. What if you have a monitoring system which opens an incident in the ticketing system, in this case ServiceNow for Datavail? It opens the incident in ServiceNow, and if you have a DBA team who is 24 hours by 7, works on those incidents, resolve these incidents, make your environment healthier, your day-to-day operation more smoother. That is what exactly TechBoost help us to do our job more efficiently as a DBA. So let's get into a TechBoost. So we'll look for TechBoost details, its footprints, what is the actual architecture of TechBoost, how TechBoost works in a proxy environment, what are the compatible system and what is the installation process, what are the things which are getting monitored by TechBoost, how TechBoost communicates to ServiceNow integration, like how it talks to ServiceNow. There are some internal dashboards, which is really good. We'll look into it into TechBoost user interface. Root cause engine and performance monitoring are very good features of TechBoost. We'll look into it in detail with the live demo. There are some reports which also we will share and look into it as well. Uh, I will do the demos on the side by pretty much after a few topics and look into this each topics in detail. So TechBoost is a proprietary application. It's delivered from the cloud, which is hosted in AWS by Datavail. It is built, developed, and owned by Datavail. It is a part of Datavail service offering. So TechBoost is not sold separately, but if you work with Datavail, this TechBoost comes as a service with the service offering. Currently, we have pretty much 500 plus different monitoring objects we monitor, and pretty much every monitor which we have in TechBoost can be customizable. If you have a physical host or a VM, whether it's on-prem or in a cloud, for example, AWS EC2 or Azure VM, we can install agents on those VMs or physical hosts, and that can be monitored as well. Top of that, TechBoost has a capability to monitor SQL Server, Postgres SQL, and MySQL on AWS RDS as well. So if you have RDS instance, no issues at all. TechBoost can take care of those part as well. So when we designed this whole product for a DBA, we kept DBA as a center. What as a DBA would like to see from one monitoring platform, which is useful for them, which with the threshold set by a DBA for certain things, for example, jobs or uh, database statuses for replication, for always on, what are the things they will look for, what Windows Server level, what as a DBA will look for. We have kept DBA as a core while designing this whole product, and this product will deliver DBA more efficiency based on the configuration they set in the system. Now, who has access to the user interface? Of course, DB has an access to the TechBoost user interface. Currently, we have 200 plus customers getting monitored by TechBoost 24 by 7, and DBA takes care of those incidents coming in via TechBoost and also do some trend analysis as well. So what is the proof for how this thing works? So TechBoost has the central monitoring engine hosted on AWS cloud by Datavail. It's basically issue repository. It's a messaging infrastructure which basically gets all the messages from the agents and process them and creates the alert if needs to be created alerts, or it creates the historical reports as well. Agents is very lightweight agent. It's a simple agent. It does not do make any decisions on an agent side. It's pretty much the, I would say, dumb agent. It just runs and collects the information what a DBA asks for it. For example, run for CPU checks or run for memory checks for a certain time. That's all it does. It sends those information back to us via HTTPS, on HTTPS via TLS 1.2, back to Datavail monitoring engine, basically TechBoost monitoring engine for immediate processing. Uh, Monitoring is always on. We are always looking for an incident. If once data comes back to us, we process the data and immediately create an incident on it. And I'll show you those examples on a live demo as well. The alerts when come in into the TechBoost engine, it detects the alert, communicates to Datavail ITSM platform, which is ServiceNow, and opens the incident into the ServiceNow. Datavail DBA staff, who is 24/7, gets into that incident, start working on the incident, and try to resolve those issues ASAP. There are some additional features which was part of now TechBoost is issue remediation, trend analysis, and DBA effectiveness, and we'll look into those topics in detail as well. So what exactly, how the agent works, like how TechBoost works. So we have agent installed on a VM or physical host on a client environment. So it's the agent-based monitoring. Agent occupies around 100 to 500 MB of disk space, very light on memory, and very negligible CPU. The reason why is basically it's running some checks on certain intervals. It's not making any decision once it collects information. It's not making decision whether it should open an alert or incident based on information or not. That part is done on the cloud side, basically on web server side or processing queue side, which is hosted on our end. So agent starts communicating. If you can see on my screen on the top, the TechBoost agent start communicating, which is on the customer side to us. First gets into application load balancer, web servers, and processing queue, and TechBoost database. Everything is hosted on AWS. So the first is AWS Shield, which is gets into, then go to load balancer. It's a pretty secure environment. The different web servers talks to different queues. For example, database inventory, job inventory, those are the basically collecting information what needs to be monitored. So those inventory goes to different queues. Once the information is collected, we start monitoring jobs and database status checks. Those status checks goes to different queues and gets processed. Ultimately, everything goes to the database, TechBoost database, which is encrypted at rest via TDE, SQL Server feature. And who has access to the information, or which way Datavail DBA can access this information? There are two ways. One, when TechBoost detects the incident, it directly communicates to ServiceNow and opens the incident. At that moment, Datavail DBA goes into ServiceNow with his AD account or one login account and gets into ServiceNow and works on it. So it's a secure connection again. Other way Datavail DBA interacts with the TechBoost is the user interface. It's bottom. If you can see TechBoost user interface website, and we'll look into that as well. This particular user interface is also part of a one login, so nobody outside Datavail can access this. It's a pretty secure environment. Datavail DB only has an access with the different security roles on a user interface. This is how it works. And we have seen some of the scenarios where database server do not have internet access directly. So in those cases, we can certainly set up a proxy, or we can use existing proxy on your environment and make sure TechBoost agent communicates via proxy to our cloud hosted environment. Uh, if you do not have proxy, TechBoost team can certainly help us to configure a proxy in your environment, and then we can use that proxy to communicate back to us via proxy settings. So If you don't have internet access on your database systems, absolutely fine, no issues at all. We can certainly take care of that part. What are the compatible systems and what is the installation process? It's pretty simple. We take care of Windows Server 2008 R2 onwards, pretty much every Windows edition. SQL Server Windows version 2008 R2 onwards, we take care of pretty much every SQL Server. The reason we are not taking care of Windows 2008 R2 downwards, because those OSs are not supporting TLS 1.2, which is the secure connection. Installation process is simple. It's a MSI file, and Datavail DB takes care of this whole each and every step for the installation. We make sure that right .NET version is available on the server. If it is not, we make sure that we communicate to the customer and make sure we have right version sitting on the server. Datavail DB goes and runs the MSI file. It does not require any reboot. Once the installation is complete, we will start the TechBoost services. TechBoost services, once it's started, it will start collecting information, sends data back to us, and monitoring will be start right immediately after that, collecting those information about databases, jobs, or drives, and CPUs and memories, everything. Okay. What are the monitors? So these are some of the examples which I have put it here for you guys to just look at it. There are so many other monitors which I am not part of this particular screen right now, but we can look at them as well in the demo, actual demo, once this is over. So this is basically tells you that which interval we are collecting this information. Again, this can be highly customized. So if you have a CPU running, checking every 5 minutes by default, if you want to make it to 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, certainly doable. So every monitor which you see on the screen or which you are not seeing on the screen, all of them can be customizable based on the need. All the data will come back to us on HTTPS, so it's secured. And one more feature we have in TechBoost is called collection. So collection is a group of servers. So let's say you have 10 critical servers and you would like to run CPU check instead of 5 minutes. I would say I would like to run every 2 minutes or every 1 minute. Absolutely fine. We can put all of those 10 servers and put into collection and just apply settings at collection level, which will apply that setting to all 10 servers downwards and run the CPU check every minute. So you don't have to go to each server and set up your settings individually. You can certainly use this collection level settings in TechBoost, and that can help you minimize your effort in terms of configuring critical servers or doing customization into TechBoost. All right, so let's get into TechBoost, and I'm going to go and look into the TechBoost, login into TechBoost. So this is the TechBoost UI. I'm going to log into TechBoost UI. All right. I'm going to go to practice dashboard. So practice dashboard is a screen where we have set all the default settings for when you had an agent, and if you do not do any customization, your agent will be get monitored based on this particular settings. So I'm going to go to monitor tab. So you can see all this monitors has been set with different frequency and different thresholds. So what kind of alert we're going to create, that is also defined here in TechBoost. Log watcher, we're going to watch all these log watchers and going to collect information about these things. If this message pops up, we're going to create a ticket based on the checks. Service running, we're going to check for service running, we're going to check for DB statuses. So these are the default settings which we have in a TechBoost for the monitoring purposes. How it integrates into ServiceNow. So what happens is when agents start communicating back to us, and it has a data which will compare with the configuration, which is a threshold, and if then when threshold is breached, TechBoost will open an incident. TechBoost will open incident into Datavail ServiceNow. Customer will get notified via ServiceNow saying that, hey, you have server A having a P1 issue on database ABC, something like that. And Datavail DB, who is a 24/7 team, takes on this incident, works on the incident, and do necessary action on the incident. So that is how TechBoost communicates to the ServiceNow. This is the internal dashboard. We'll look into it immediately in this one after this slide. So this dashboard is pretty useful. As a DBA, I really like this dashboard. I can have some of my KPIs on my screen. I can have some status checks, for example, database checks, jobs checks, whether it's successful or failure, those kind of checks. A property section. Property section will have a different information on different level. On server level, it will display the server information, SQL instance level, SQL instance information, and on database level, it will display database information. There is a drop down for the report. So each level we have different report defined. If you are at server level, you will see different report, and you can run those report just on a click, and that will be saved in the report repository on that particular client in the UI. And hierarchy is basically showing you where exactly you are in the user interface, and if you want to jump between the different levels, you can jump on different levels as well. So let's go into this one and look at it, how it is defined into TechBoost. So all right, so I'm gonna click on my company. So this is the company I have defined for this particular demo. So this is my company I have defined. Before I go to this company, I'm going to show you one more example. I'm going to go to the companies where I have defined this company in the first place. I'm going to click on the companies. I'm going to type on SQL Pass. And I'm going to click on this Add It. So this is the company I have defined. This two fields coming from Datavail ServiceNow, and it tells me that this particular company is mapped with this company in a Datavail ServiceNow. So this is how I set up a company. Once that is done, I can go to my company dashboard, just clicking on that graph looking button. Once I go to that graph looking button, the first screen is open. Is there any alert open for my company? And it will tell me yes, there is an alert open for this issues. Okay. Then I have a section where it tells me the assets. Assets is basically a server. So here on this particular tab, I have two options. I have servers and collection. Since I have only one server, I have not defined any collection on this particular company. But if you want to define a company, you can certainly define a collection on here. For this one, I have only one server. I'm going to click on this button, which is a graph looking button that takes me to the server dashboard. Here, as you can see, I already have defined my KPIs, which I would like to see whenever I come to this server. It tells me a memory and processor, how it has been doing for last couple of hours or so. If I want to add a KPI, I can click on Add API and add this C drive logical free space. Click on Save and Close. It tells me how the logical space has been doing on this particular C drive, so and so forth. The property section on this particular one, it's talking about the Windows level options. It's talking about what is the manufacturer of the OS, what is the patch level, what is the system directory. All this information is available to me on my screen. Very easily, how much physical memory is, what is the core, all this information is available for me here as well. So it's pretty neat, pretty handy for me. We collect this information once a day for each server and store it for us, so DBA can look at them if they need to, and do necessary action if they want to. Next one is a SQL instance. So I'm at the SQL instance dashboard. I can again do same thing. KPIs can be added or removed. Here I have so far have live page expectancy and performance counter I have added here. So it tells me what is the APLE for this particular server, which helps me as well. MS SQL properties will be displayed here. So instance level property, whether it's a cluster, where is the SQL error log file, that is also displayed here. Um, uh, so many different, like for example, product level. So it's RTM. So I can say, oh, I need to pass this error because it's RTM version. So as a DBA, this is pretty handy and helpful information on the fingertips of the DBA, Datavail DBA. and makes life easier for them to troubleshoot or make environment healthy for the clients. On the report side, it's pretty simple. You can run any of this report, just click and run on the report and click on run, and those will be saved on the view report section, and those reports will be available for the DBAs to troubleshoot something or look for it or do some trend analysis as well. All right, I'm going to go back to here, root cause engine. So root cause engine is an automation portion of a TechBoost. It's pretty neat and clean. The way it works is whenever the observation is matched against TechBoost configuration, the TechBoost threshold, it opens an incident in ServiceNow. So that's pretty much the same step. The additional automation places here is when root cause engine detects an incident opened by a TechBoost, it will automatically run some additional report for the issue, and those information or those additional reports will be attached automatically to the existing ticket of the issue. So DBA can, before logging into the client server or RDP to the client server, or you open a management studio and run some query to get some more detail for the incident, those information will be available for them right into the ticket. They don't have to go to any other drive or any other location to collect that information. It's right there in the ticket itself. So DBA can take this action or make a call or make a decision for that particular incident, what needs to be done with this additional information. And then DBA works upon the ticket, whether it needs to be resolved or do whatever action needs to be done. So that is root cause engine, and we'll look for some live examples also on this one. This is one example which I just put it here, is a backup missing. So we look for full backup for databases every 24 hours, whether it's happened on last 24 hours or not. If the full backup has not happened in last 24 hours, we create a ticket in ServiceNow, and ServiceNow, the same ticket will have this additional report attached on the ticket, and you can see it tells me when this ticket was backed up or not, and so on and so forth. So it's pretty handy information for a DBA to work on the issue. The performance monitoring. So performance monitoring is basically the KPIs we looked at in the dashboard. Those KPIs and some more Windows performance counter if you are running with through via agent. So KPI and some performance counter, if you are running via agent, those can be added here into performance monitoring screen. You can compare different KPIs in one screen. For example, which I'm sharing right now here, like how much my CPU and my memory was doing on so and so time. I can compare those things, and I can easily drill down to particular hour or particular minute and see, okay, on 7 o'clock in the morning, my CPU was 90%, same time my memory was 70%, what was running at that time. So I can go into the further into servers and look for any jobs or anything which was running at that particular given point of time. So it's pretty handy for DBA to do trend analysis and performance analysis, which helps them to mitigate any ongoing issues which is happening on a customer environment side. So let's go into this. Before we go there, let's talk about reports, and then we'll look for all the demos all together. So SQL Server, server wise, we have disk usage, SQL Server health check reports, and CPA reports. And SQL instance level, we have job history, error log. So these are some examples I have shared with you guys, and those reports can be run by DBA from that drop down list, and those will be stored and in the report repository for DBA. They can look for them then and then, or they can compare the previous run of the report as well. So it's pretty helpful for DBA to run this report on just with the few clicks without logging into the server or without RDPing into the server. All right. So let's go into this one. We'll start with this root cause engine demo. So I'm going into here, and I'm going to open some example tickets. So for example, right now I have this health check ticket open, and I'm going to open this backup missing as well. And I have some job ticket as well. For example, this one. So if I click on this one job ticket, which was failed on this particular instance, I'll log in back in. I think I logged out. So I'll log back in. Once I log back in, I'm going to go to the my view where it basically tells me if there is any incident open. So yeah, this is the incident open for a job failure on this particular server. It tells me when job was failed. All other information is additionally here stored as well. Top of that, there is a report attached with by via TechBoost root cause engine, and this reports basically tells me uh, that what happened to this job, what was the execution portion of it, how many times it got executed. So I click on this report, it tells me on this job name, job ID, on this instance, on this server, this job failed on this particular error, how was their previous runs. In this particular instance, this job is constantly failing. DBA can log into the server and look for what exactly the error is and then fix it. In some cases, it could be successful, some cases it could be failure, but it will give a good history of this particular job run for DBA to make a decision whether it needs to be taken any action or it doesn't need to take any action on. So it's pretty handy report as well in terms of this. The report comes automatically. So what I'm going to do today is in front of you, I have a server. I'm going to create some alert for you, and this alert will be available into Datavail ServiceNow immediately after we create it. So I'm going to forcefully put this error into the error log. Sorry, I'm going to execute this one. So I forcefully ran this one, and also I'm going to take this database offline. So what I did is I forcefully asked SQL Server to record this message for us. So that will create a ticket into Datavail ServiceNow. And also same time, I took one database offline as well. So let's see what happens in terms of incident which comes into the ticketing system. So I'm going back to the ticketing tool, which I have it. And I'm going to click on this one and I'm going to leave this ticket. So if you see, remember that we had only one last two tickets for SQL Server Health Check that came on November 12th. Today is November 13th. Let's see. Let's refresh my screen. It just I ran my query at server time 140. So let's see when I get my ticket into the ServiceNow of Datavail. Here we go. So you can see we have two tickets, one for error log fault, one for system shutdown. So that is how it's creating P1 tickets automatically for DBA. Within a minute, we got the ticket. The other one is important, which I want to show you, is about database offline, right? So if I go to click this one, the root cause engine already ran a repeat immediately after it detects the ticket. It runs a report, and additional report has been attached to the ticket for the DBA to look for it, what exactly happening on this database. So it's run for database status. It goes and runs this information for this particular instance on this database. Say what was happening on this database. So it clearly tells that somebody is doing something with database and setting database offline on this particular line. See, so somebody has set this database offline. It helps DBA to determine the issue very quickly without even logging into the box. I can see that somebody is taking this database offline intentionally, right? So it's pretty helpful as well. Also, let's look at some other reports, which is part of Datavail TechBoost one. I'm going to open a health check, which is a very extensive report for Datavail SQL Server health check report. Okay, so as you can see, it's a one instance of IRENT for one instance is a 10-page report. This report contains very extensive information. It's like a 360-degree check, including at Windows level, at SQL instance level, database level. It has a different sections. So first section is about SQL Server Windows levels information, like it's a virtual machine or physical host, what is the OS level, how many cores, how many CPU, architecture of the OS, all this information is available. Next is logical drive, then memory, and then this, if you keep going down, it has a SQL Server information. We are comparing with each database options, how the database option is set for each databases, how the instance level information is stored or configured. We are not only talking about the instance level settings, but we are also trying to explain a user that what this actual setting means, which helps them to understand what is a backup compression default, what is cost level threshold for parallelism, what is maxicity of parallelism. All this information is also very helpful for a user to read and understand. And we are comparing with the best practices as well. So it tells us whether it's good or not. For example, SQL instance level is RTM version, so it requires a patch, so there's so much extensive information. For example, this one, I can see this particular server having all the data files, log files, and system databases on a OneDrive. That's wrong, right? As a DB, I would like to see my system database on its own drive, TMDB on drive, data file on drive, and log file on drive, right? So this is just an example. It's pretty extensive report for a DBA to go through it and make their environment or database server or databases more healthier. Their day-to-day operation will be improved drastically and efficiently. DBA can manage their environment as well. You can run index analysis, you can run deadlocks report, blocking reports. All this information will be available for DBAs as well. See DB file information. So it's pretty extensive information as well. What is the recovery model, if backup is missing or not. So all this information will be available for DBA to look for it and make any adjustment needs to be done. So yep, that's pretty much it from my side. Um, if you guys have any questions regarding TechBoost, or if you would like to have one more deep dive sessions for TechBoost, please get in touch with us. If you need any help on database world or database environment in your organization, please get in touch with Datavail. We would like to help you as much as we can and get this going. I have my contact details listed on the screen. Please reach out to me via email or on LinkedIn, and I would be happy to more than happy to help you guys. Thank you. Bye.